I see home buyers make mistakes all of the time whenever they're buying a house here in San Antonio, and I do not want that to happen to you. So today I'm going to be breaking down the top 3 mistakes that folks are making whenever they're out there purchasing a brand new house here in the San Antonio area. And I'm also going to be sharing with you how to avoid these. So if you're serious about buying a house in San Antonio in 2025, then please stick around to the end, because I'm going to be sharing all of this information with you to help possibly save you thousands of dollars whenever you're purchasing a house. But if we haven't met yet, my name is Brock and I sell new construction homes all over San Antonio and the surrounding areas. So if you have any questions about buying a home, or if you just need some help finding your next home here in San Antonio, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I've got all of my contact information down below in the description for you guys, and I would love to help you and find that home, as well as be a resource for you and be of help however I can be of help to you guys. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to hear from you guys, but let's go ahead and dive on in. And before we get into the top 3 mistakes here, I'm actually going to be sharing a bonus mistake that folks tend to make. And that bonus mistake here is just not getting a home inspection. Now, if you've watched several of my other videos, I often reference this as a common mistake or common issue that people make, and I always highly suggest getting a home inspection done on your house, whether it's a brand new build or an existing home. Spending a few $100s before you purchase the house to get a licensed inspector in there to fully inspect the house and test all of the systems and components can give you a clear picture and a solid understanding of the home's condition before you even move into it. Sometimes these home inspectors will identify mistakes or issues that could potentially cost thousands of dollars to repair. And if you've got a new construction house, it's not as big of an issue, because you can have that builder complete these repairs before you even take ownership of the house. And if not, you do have a home warranty for that first full year in a lot of cases to help cover these items. So regardless, it's always a really good idea to get a home inspection so you have the best knowledge possible about the condition of the property before you are the new owners and you have to potentially spend thousands of dollars and lots of hours dealing with contractors to get in there and make these repairs on the home. So with that bonus tip out of the way there, let's go ahead and talk about mistake number 3 that I see people making, which is just failing to factor in additional costs in buying a house. A lot of people, whenever they're looking for a home to buy, really tend to think about 2 major costs associated with buying a house, and usually that's just the overall price of the house as well as the down payment. Now, why both of those are very important to keep in mind, because you want to make sure you're sticking within your budget and you're not putting all of your money from savings and retirement funds into a house, you really want to factor in some of these additional closing costs that are more forgotten about than remembered here. So some of these costs include closing costs on a home, and usually these are like title fees and lender fees that are associated with taking out a loan and closing on the house. The title fees are usually done at a title company here in the state of Texas, and these folks, have a lot of individuals that are working on background documentation and paperwork and working with attorneys to prepare documents and transfer ownership from the seller to you as the buyer. So they do have some fees associated with all this documentation prep and, of course, transferring the ownership to you as the new owner of the house. Now, some additional closing costs outside of course of a down payment will include some lender fees. Now, every lender typically has some sort of fee that they charge to you as the consumer for, producing that loan and helping get that loan set up in your name, so that whenever you do close on the house, you have a loan securing that property, and that's how you make your mortgage, right? So they do have a fee associated with that, and typically these lenders, they all have varying fees, so I'm not sure which lender is charging what fees, but there is a cost associated with doing business with the lender, so they usually charge these fees and you are paying this at closing. So those are some of the fees that they talk about there. Usually between all of these closing costs, excluding the down payment, you can expect to pay anywhere between 1% to 3% of the purchase price there in these closing costs. Now, a couple of other costs to consider here that people tend to forget about are moving costs. It is not cheap to go buy boxes and tape and packing materials to really secure all of your items in boxes. On top of that, you have moving expenses in the way of maybe hiring movers. Moving labor is not cheap. I know in a lot of cases, these movers that I actually hire to help me move all of my furniture in boxes, typically they have a certain hour minimum as far as the number of hours for the help that you're hiring, as well as sometimes they have a charge per person that you need to help move all these items. So these moving expenses can really add up, and if you have a lot of stuff where it's going to take several hours to move, these fees can really start to add up and pile up on top of each other. Now, outside of these costs that I've already covered here, some other costs that you might want to consider is just furnishing costs to get your new house furnished. Typically, people will upgrade to a larger house, or maybe the layout of their new house isn't quite the same as their previous house. So they like to get new furniture and new decorations for the house. And of course, all of these items cost money and can really add up as well. Now, a little extra bonus tip here is if you are planning to buy new furniture for your new house or new appliances or any of that sort, please wait until after you've already closed on the house to, actually purchase these items, because purchasing these items ahead of time can actually affect your credit as well as your debt to income ratio if you're financing these things, and it can really limit you on being able to actually secure a mortgage for the house. So always do your best to wait until at least closing day to purchase new furniture for your house, or if you have to purchase ahead of time for whatever reason, please talk to your lender and have that conversation to see how this will actually affect your chances of actually getting this mortgage on closing day. So like we just mentioned, there are some different costs that you need to keep in mind with, purchasing a house, and there's some things that people tend to forget. But what is the second mistake that you should avoid when buying a house? Well, I'm glad you asked. The second mistake here is just not trusting the right real estate agent. Unfortunately, not all real estate agents are made the same, and sometimes us as real estate agents start to specialize in different areas. For example, there are some real estate agents out there that specialize in selling land only. So if you're trying to buy a house, maybe this isn't the best real estate agent for you to work with. Some others work in farm and ranch, new construction, some only work in rentals. There's a number of different areas that a real estate agent might specialize in. I, for example, specialize in new build homes, but I do help a lot with the existing home sales as well and help sellers sell their homes. So I'm no stranger to all of that, but I do like to focus a lot on new construction because that's just what I really like to look at. But on top of that, there are some real estate agents also that just do not know the entire process as well as they should, right? Some real estate agents sell a lot of homes every single year, and some other real estate agents only sell a couple homes. Outside of specializing in certain areas, there are also some real estate agents who just aren't as experienced as others, right? Outside of specializing in certain areas, there are also some agents that just don't sell as many homes as other real estate agents each year. And there's nothing wrong with that, trying to make fun of anyone. But if you are looking at someone who maybe sells 1 or 2 homes a year, they're not going to be as up to date with the current market trends and what's happening in the real estate world as much as someone who is doing multiple sales per month, right? So if you're looking at it as the lens from someone with more experience, you definitely want the real estate agent who's doing it more often, because they're going to be able to explain each of the contracts with you more thoroughly. All these contracts that we use unfortunately change on a very regular basis. We're also going to know what's happening as far as can you negotiate a lower price? Can you ask for more incentives from the seller? Can you get more seller concessions? What's happening with interest rates and how that affects everything? So really working with someone who is very knowledgeable in the market, maybe has a lot of experience in what you're trying to purchase, it's always going to be in your best interest, because you definitely want someone to be able to explain the process so that you have a really good understanding of what's currently happening and what that means for you on the buying side. So if you have any questions about buying homes here in San Antonio, I specialize again in new construction, but I do help with a lot of resale. So I'm here to be a resource for you in the San Antonio and the surrounding areas. But if you would like some assistance in any other city, please let me know. I've got agent connections in just about every single city and state out there. So I can definitely get you connected with a solid real estate agent who has very good knowledge of the local market and can really help guide you through that entire process. All right, so with those top 2 mistakes out of the way, what is the biggest mistake that I am seeing out there that people make? Well, I'm here to tell you that the biggest mistake people tend to make is not getting pre-approved by a lender before looking at homes. Having a pre-approval on hand is good for a few reasons, and one of these reasons is being the fact that you know your budget whenever you're looking for a house. Now, let's say you reach out to a lender, you got pre-approved for, let's say, $300,000. Whenever we start going to look at homes in this price range, then we already know what to expect, and we know that we can, put in offers on homes and actually go under contract for a home at this price without having that fear of being rejected. I would hate for you to, go look at even like a $400,000 house, and then we start putting in an offer, it gets accepted, we go through the negotiation process, and then the lender says, hey, you don't make enough money, you don't qualify for a house at this price. We really need you to be at, $300,000 or less. So I really don't like hearts to be broken, and that's just another reason why you need a pre-approval. On top of that, having a pre-approval letter really shows the seller that you are a serious buyer. Whenever we make offers on existing homes, or even when we go talk to builders, they already know you've spoken to a lender and you are able to financially secure a home at a certain price point. So this really gives everybody a peace of mind knowing that you can already do this. And it also just puts into perspective your realities as far as like what you can afford. Now, just because you have a pre-approval for a certain amount doesn't mean you have to use this entire budget. If a lender says, hey, you are approved for up to $500,000 to buy a house, if you're not comfortable with the payments at $500,000, that is okay. You can use your budget to whatever your comfort level is up to the $500,000, right? So there's a lot of really good benefits to having a pre-approval, and unfortunately it does break a lot of hearts and shatter some dreams if folks don't have a pre-approval and we start looking at houses that are just outside of the budget and unattainable because of the financial situation that you may have. So if you would like to talk with the lender and just kind of see, what your budget could look like and get that pre-approval process started, it's a very quick and easy process. Lenders typically don't take very long to get pre-approvals as long as you're giving them everything that they need to process that pre-approval. So if you want some lender recommendations, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I've got lenders that cover all of the state of Texas, and then some other lenders that are licensed in multiple states. They can all help you get pre-approved and really kind of make a game plan so that you know what your budget is going forward whenever we go out there to look for a home. So, all right, well, those are the top 3 mistakes that I'm seeing folks make out there here in the San Antonio market today. So avoiding these 3 mistakes, and even that bonus one of not getting a home inspection, could really help you save thousands of dollars, avoid some stress, and reduce your headaches whenever you're out there purchasing a home. And if you do need some help purchasing a home, if you have any questions, if you would like to set up some time to go look for a home here in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, please don't hesitate to give me a phone call, shoot me a text, or give me an email. I've got all my contact information down below, and I would love to hear from you guys. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like this video, and while you're there, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so that you'll be the first to learn about living in San Antonio, Texas, as well as maybe see a home tour of another beautiful home right here in the surrounding areas. So with that, thank you for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.